Welcome everybody to a tier list video. We are going to have 3 different tiers: a cheap tier, affordable tier, and an expensive tier. Every single tier is going to have a bronze medal, a silver medal, and a gold medal. It is very self-explanatory, so sit back and enjoy the video. As well, make sure to check me out on Twitch. We stream 5 days a week at 11 AM UK time. The links will be in the description. What is going on, guys? Welcome everybody back to another FIFA 23 Premier League tier list video. Today, we're going to be focusing on Premier League centre mids. As well, with this year's chemistry system, or position system I should say, if a player is maybe a CDM or a cam, which you will see a few of these players in this video, their secondary position will be a centre mid. So if you guys are watching this video, if you are looking at all of the players that are popping up, their position might be cam, might be CDM, but that means they would be able to play centre mid and get everyone else chemistry, as that would be their secondary position. And without further ado, let's get into the video, boys. So starting off, as always, in the cheap tier, taking home bronze is going to be Aribo from, I believe, Southampton. Now, this card looks really well rounded, and he is actually the only 4-star skiller in this whole cheap tier list. He looks a very good card. He'll be no more than 1.5, 2,000 coins, might even be under 1,000 coins, and be literally minimum on the market, which I believe is 700 for a gold rare. But he's got some pace, he's got some solid dribbling, and I think for a day 1, 2, maybe a day 3 centre mid, this card will be very good. And as well, he's a very nice cheap card that you could use if you are, don't have the budget to splash on a centre mid and you're jumping into maybe the first weekend league. I think he would be okay for maybe the first weekend league. Anything beyond that, you'd be looking for upgrades, but a very nice starting card. Which means moving on over to silver in the cheap tier is going to be Mwepu. Hopefully I am pronouncing that correctly, and I do know for a fact he did score against Arsenal last season when Brighton beat Arsenal 2-1 at the Emirates Stadium. I was watching that game with my brother, and the PTSD from seeing this man on my screen. He's got 82 pace, very well rounded. In fact, he's not got, I'm looking at his card over here, he has not got one stat below 72, which once again is more than enough for the first week or 2 of the game. The only issue with him is he is 3-star, but disregarding that, he looks really good. Now that does leave us with the gold medal. That is going to go to Matheus and Nunes. Hopefully I am pronouncing that somewhat correctly, but this card in my opinion is ridiculous. He's got 75 agility and 74 balance, which I do think means he won't feel amazing on the ball. He is also 5'11" or 6 foot tall, so he's going to be a taller type of player, but I think this card looks like a really budget version of Jude Bellingham. I don't know what gives me that Jude Bellingham vibe. Obviously Jude Bellingham I think is 6'2" or 6'3", but he still gives me, I don't even know how tall Jude Bellingham is. He might be 6'1", but this Matheus Nunes card, he just looks like a really budget Premier League and Portuguese Jude Bellingham. 82 pace, 82 dribbling, his worst stat being 71 shooting, which is a box-to-box centre mid, is going to be more than good enough. 76 physical with some solid defending, solid passing. I mean, if you're looking at his stats here, I probably would go for an engine chemistry style to give him that dribbling boost, that passing boost, and that pace boost, would suit him like literally perfectly. He is screaming out for an engine. But this, lads, is the cheap tier list. All of these cards, in my opinion, will be amazing for the week 1 or maybe even week 2, or you could be watching this later on throughout the year and you're starting a new no money spent road to glory, not spending any money on the account, then you'll definitely get some use out of these players in your starting squad. Now, before we jump on over to the affordable tier, I would like to mention there is a couple players, and I'll tell you now, who are not involved but do have a secondary position of centre mid: Bernardo Silva and Martin Odegaard. The reason I have not put Martin Odegaard and Bernardo Silva in this video, they have got an alternative position of centre mid. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but they have got a secondary position as a central midfielder, right? But the reason they're not in this video is because I think they are both better suited as central attacking midfielders. And if you do want to check out my central attacking midfielders Premier League tier list, that will be linked at the end screen of this video, or obviously I do have a full Premier League tier list playlist on my channel. So if you want to check out the last video where we did CAMS, that's where I put Odegaard and Bernardo Silva. So just an FYI, they will not show up in this video because their defensive and physical stats, in my opinion, are not quite good enough for that centre mid role, and they are better suited as a cam. Anyways, in bronze, in the affordable tier, we are going to go for Kovacic. I think you definitely want to get his pace up as much as possible, so maybe a shadow, something like that, if they do still give a plus 10 pace boost, but you 100% want to get plus 10 pace on his Kovacic card. But he's got 88 dribbling, and he's got some really nice agility and balance, and the reason I actually have included him today, and what really stands out with this card, is he's relatively tall, but he's got some really nice dribbling, and players with a combination who are not like, you know, because you kind of see a 5'9", a 5'8", 5'7" player. You expect him to dribble quite well, feel good on the ball. I think Kovacic, I could be wrong, I think he is 5'10" or 5'11". So Kovacic, when he is going to be dribbling, and he has got some really respectable dribbling stats, it's just going together, his body type and the dribbling stats together, in my opinion, makes him a really nice card. I do think, as I said though, you want to get a shadow on him to get that pace up. Now, taking home the silver medal in the affordable tier is going to be no other, but it is a FIFA Ultimate Team favourite in my opinion, and it is going to be Fred. I do think as well he is a card that you could make a similar debate for when it comes to Bernardo Silva and Odegaard. I said they are cams. I do think they are better suited to the cam role rather than the centre mid role. Now, Fred, I do think he's better suited to the CDM role, but I also think he is really well suited to the centre mid role. So when we do CDMs next, Fred may well be in that video as well. But in second, we have got Fred. He's got some nice agility, some nice balance. He feels really good on the ball. I'm pretty sure he's 4-star skill moves as well. I'm pretty confident that he is 4-star, 3-star. So he's got the nice skill moves in the midfield. He's a very agile and movable type of midfielder, if you will. Now, lads, it leads us into the gold tier. This card, in my opinion, looks phenomenal, and I think it'll be very hard not to use this card in a lot of your starting squads. That is going to be no other than Zakaria. Now, he is once again a central defensive midfielder, but he can play as a centre mid, and he could most definitely get the job done as a centre mid. If you were to use him as a centre mid though, I do think you want to get maybe a hunter on him to get that massive pace boost, but also get that shooting boost, because if you do use him as a box-to-box centre mid, you will get in a few attacking scenarios or shooting scenarios with him. Therefore, I do think you'd want to get his shooting up a little bit. But other than that, he ticks all of the boxes for a centre mid. Or if you do want, you could have him as a centre mid and have him as a stay back and kind of, you know, run him as a defensive styled midfielder. Once again, it all just depends on the scenario of your team and your formation. But Zakaria, he can play CDM, he can play centre mid, and he can play both of those positions well. In my opinion, there's no other person to take home gold in the affordable tier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that leaves us with the expensive tier. And in third place, it is no other, probably one of the most hated players in the Premier League, but it is Bruno Fernandes, taking home bronze. Now, he does not look nowhere near as good as he did last year, but still, nonetheless, this card is screaming out for a shadow. Give him that pace boost, give him that defending boost, and you've got an absolutely exceptional box-to-box midfielder. I mean, as for like the first week of FIFA 23 Ultimate Team, I can see this card being maybe 30,000 coins plus, but I can't see him exceeding 60 or 70,000 coins. Once again, with the market being shared this year, it is very hard to predict, but I do think this Bruno Fernandes card will still be absolutely brilliant and a brilliant pickup for your squad. Once again, depending on your budget, but if you do have around 40,000 coins and you are looking for a box-to-box Premier League midfielder, Bruno Fernandes, chuck a shadow on him, and in my opinion, you're absolutely golden. Second place. Now, he's been a little bit butchered this year, I'm not going to lie, and it is probably everyone's most favourite player on earth, and that is going to be N'Golo Kante, the happy man himself. Now, although he's only got 72 pace is absolutely wild in my opinion from EA. He has been heavily nerfed. But still, as I said, similar with Bruno Fernandes, I think a shadow would be the best. You know what? No, I'm not going to say a shadow for Kante. I'm going to say a catalyst will be the best choice for him, because his passing of 74 as a centre mid, you do want passing. So I do think you want to get a catalyst on him, give him that pace boost up to like 80, and give him that passing boost up to like 85, assuming he is on full chemistry. I do think a catalyst suits Kante absolutely perfectly. He's got a very small body type, and I believe he is medium high, or he might even be high. Now, I know he does play centre mid IRL, and the fact that I've given him a CDM as his base, position kind of tells me EA do not watch football, but nonetheless, with his Kante card, in my opinion, he's still got that Kante-ness about him, if that makes sense, right? He's still very small, he's going to feel brilliant on the ball, it's amazing, absolutely phenomenal balance on him. He'll be a very nice card, similar to Zakaria. I think he'll be a good defensive styled centre mid, but he wouldn't be awful when it comes to attacking, especially that left stick dribbling. Now it does leave us with one man, and it is quite obvious, quite obvious. He featured in our best Premier League cams video. In fact, he won the gold medal in the expensive tier for Premier League cams, and he is back again to take the gold medal in the expensive tier again for the Premier League centre mids, and there's no other than Kevin De Bruyne. I said in the cams video, I still think he's a best cam, but I do think he's better suited as a centre mid, therefore it's a no-brainer that he is going to be the best Premier League centre mid at the point of recording this video. I'll still probably go for a shadow on this card. When I said playing him as a central cam in the last one, I said go for a hunter, but I do think a shadow and play him similar to Bruno. I feel like De Bruyne and Bruno are kind of, if you compare their stats, like they've both got kind of average defending and pace, and the rest of his stats are really good. So I think he's very similar to Bruno, just obviously a lot better than Bruno, but he's very similar in the sense, get a shadow on this card, use him as a box-to-box. I believe he's high-medium work rates, 4-star skill moves with a 5-star weak foot, so you can play him as a right centre mid, left centre mid, obviously depending, once again, on the scenario of your formation, but he can play it basically anywhere. He's not going to be the fastest, but his passing is ridiculous, his dribbling is nice, his shooting is good. With a shadow, Kevin De Bruyne is the definition, for me anyway, of the perfect box-to-box, and I do think you'll be at least 100,000 coins to start the game. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well. Let me know if you got any other honourable mentions for Premier League centre mids that I did not mention in this video. It's been your boy Davis, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, boys.